order the Blendon Township reorganizational meeting. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to make a call for a motion to nominate a chairperson.
I move to nominate Kathy Shinneberry as chair for the calendar year 2025.
Second.
Do we have to do the discussion or do we just call roll? Heichel?
Yes?
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
I will now turn the meeting over to the new chairperson.
Okay, I would like to take a nomination for vice chairman for 2025.
I move to nominate Trustee Heichel as vice chairperson for 2025.
I'll second.
Heichel?
Yes?
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations on being vice chair.
Not me, she's
Or
vice chair.
Yeah. I saw the DC here first that you moved. Okay, we will move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment tonight?
Yeah, so first of all, let me read the guidelines. Going into this year, it'll be the same as last year. Public comment will be for a period not to exceed 30 minutes per meeting. Residents or guests wishing to speak will be required to sign in on the sign-in sheet provided. Each person will be given 3 minutes to express their compliment or concern. Each person will be called to the podium in the order listed on the sign-in sheet. Yielding of time to another person is not permitted. Respectful communication is expected of all people involved in the trustee meetings. If a person is not able to comment due to the 30-minute time limit, they're asked to email myself, Pat Myers, the administrator, pmyers, P-M-Y-E-R-S, at blendonTWP.org. And we do have Ms. Pam Clay has asked to speak.
Pam Flynn, 3614 McCasser. At the November 20th trustee meeting, Pat Myers asked you to consider eliminating the fall street sweep. Please share tonight what you have decided. The purposes and necessities of street sweeping are: it contributes to cleaner waterways as required by the state of Ohio and federal law. It prevents street flooding, which could result in home and property damage. It helps maintain the integrity of asphalt and curbs, which are both very costly to repair. It makes our roads safer for travel, and it improves property values. The seasons of spring, summer, and fall are critical as far as street sweeping goes. Not only is fall a critical time to sweep, it is probably the most important season for our streets to be swept. Streets should actually be swept twice in the fall, not canceled. If saving the township money matters and protecting the environment is important and required, then eliminating the fall sweep is not the answer. If this request was made because street sweeping overwhelms our service area, then the solution is not to stop the sweep. Instead, budget accordingly and consider hiring temporary help to help your workload. My complaint at the November 20th meeting was that the fall sweep at Huber Ridge was lousy. I can show you even now where piles of leaves are right at the opening of the sewer drops, ironically just below the no dumping drains to stream signs. I can also show you where leaves are so embedded in the asphalt that even hard rains don't move them. These are areas that were totally missed with the fall street sweeping. That's D-minus quality at best. This recent fall sweep turned out to be an incredible waste of taxpayer money. We need to hire a better street sweeping company if that company can't or won't do the job properly. It's also good to educate all about the importance and benefits of street sweeping and encourage residents who are able and willing to help with this process. And we need to go back to putting up signs when street sweeping occurs so that people who can and care will move their cars off the street. I emailed each of you asking you to not eliminate the fall sweep. One acknowledged and one committed to research, but please share tonight your decision about the fall street sweeping. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Pat, is there anybody else?
No, not at this time.
Okay, let's move on to trustee comments. Ladies, who would like to go first?
I can start. So we have a name for our Blendon Cleanup Initiative. It's going to be the Blendon Beautiful Initiative. Our first cleanup day in Cleveland Heights area resulted in a noticeable improvement in the amount of trash removed along the right-of-way areas. However, as we know, more work is needed on private property, particularly on the wooded lots. As we continue focusing on this area and working with property owners, we expect further improvement. We plan to have cleanup scheduled twice a month for the foreseeable future, with our next cleanup scheduled for January 4th. This joint effort with the Franklin County Municipal Court is not costing the township anything. We've reached out to Franklin County Engineer's Office and will be discussing the possibility of joint applications for grant funding for right-of-way improvements in Cleveland Heights. The improvements we're looking to discuss would include enhancements to the roads, storm sewers, and installation of sidewalks. We'll share more details once we've had a meeting with them. Trustee Heichel and I will be spearheading this initiative. Community cleanups help enhance the environment and foster a sense of pride, unity, and responsibility among residents towards their neighborhoods. These projects are essential for creating a cleaner, safer, and more attractive community for everyone to enjoy. Over the coming months, we will outline our thoughts on how this can be accomplished in all areas of the township and hope to gain support from our many residents. Your ideas and participation are welcome. So if you have any thoughts, please feel free to contact either myself, Trustee Heichel, or Adam Sears. And then I would like to thank the concerned residents who reached out to me to inform me that there's inaccurate and untrue information recently posted on a Facebook page that reportedly appears to be spreading hate, mistruths, and divisiveness. It was falsely claimed that I advised the township to purchase the Executive Parkway building. This statement is entirely untrue. As a resident, I attended virtually every township meeting from 2012 until I was elected as your township trustee in 2024. Former Administrator Brian Rhodes, who is a licensed realtor and broker, was the individual responsible for advising the township on the purchase of the building. To my knowledge, no feasibility study was ever conducted in regards to this purchase. I also repeatedly asked how the township planned to fund it. Despite my inquiries, the responses were vague, and Trustee Flaherty assured me that the new building would not increase property taxes, though no concrete financial plan was ever shared with anyone. I made it clear that I did not support the relocation, but was told by Mr. Rhodes that the project would proceed regardless, as it was intended to be Trustee Flaherty's legacy. While I consistently opposed the idea of the new building, I acknowledge that, if forced to choose, purchasing an existing, less expensive building would be the lesser of two evils compared to building a costly new facility. However, my stance remained firm. I did not see the necessity or justification for relocating at all. During the process, when it was disclosed at a township meeting that the property did not appraise at the purchase price, I directly asked Mr. Rhodes to share the appraised value. The answer I received was vague, and I later discovered the actual appraised value had been grossly understated. As a real estate professional, I would never advise any client to pay millions for a property than its certified appraised value. The misinformation being spread online, particularly on one Facebook page, is untrue and unfounded. I appreciate the support of the many township residents who brought this to my attention. For those seeking accurate and factual information, I encourage you to reach out to me directly, to the other trustees, or to our new township administrator, Pat Myers. Please be cautious about believing content on social media that appears to be fabricated by individuals engaging in cyberbullying or spreading hate. There is simply too much divisiveness in our world right now. Our focus should be coming together as a community and working together to make Blendon Township the best it can be. We are stronger together. I've said that from the time I started running. Since I'm not a member of that Facebook page, I plan to ask the administrator of this Facebook page, Tim Atkins, to share my response in its entirety. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Heichel, do you have any comments?
I do have something. House Bill 274. This is an improvement of the current homestead exemption that we have. So recently, the House passed an enhanced property tax credit for some older and disabled Ohioans. Good news for eligible homeowners in Ohio. The Ohio House has recently passed a bill, which is again 274, expanding property tax credits for older adults and those with disabilities. This legislation aims to provide financial relief by increasing the homestead exemption limit for those aged 65 and older or permanently disabled with income thresholds adjusted to match the inflation rates. So some highlights. The increased exemption, this bill raises the maximum exemption, offering significant tax reductions for qualifying residents. It has inflation adjustments. Income limits will be adjusted annually to help more homeowners keep up with rising costs. And the move is a step forward in supporting vulnerable homeowners who need stability in their living expenses. So I have more information, but instead of reading this, just if you're interested, if this is something that applies to you or to other family members, friends, neighbors, just Google House Bill 274. It's very good news for us.
That's all I have. Okay, and I would just like to remind everybody that due to the New Year's Day holiday, the trash pickup by Rumpke is delayed to Saturday instead of Friday. So that concludes the trustee comments. We'll move on to the fiscal officer report.
Has everybody had a chance to review the December 18th meeting minutes?
Yes, and I will move to approve them as presented.
I'll second.
Pickett?
Yes?
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Semaco?
Yes.
Is there any discussion? Oh, we already,
Yeah.
you didn't give me a chance to do that. You jumped right into the call. Okay.
Dan's efficient.
Has everybody had an opportunity to review the purchase orders?
Yes.
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 And do I have a motion to approve those?
I'll move to approve those as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay.
Pickle?
Yes?
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Semaco?
Yes.
And then has everybody had an opportunity to review the bills?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a motion to approve the bills.
I'll move to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay.
Pickle?
Yes?
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Semaco?
Yes.
And then have you all had an opportunity to look at the November 2024 bank reconciliation?
Yes.
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve the bank reconciliation?
I'll move to approve the November 2024 bank reconciliation as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on that?
Yes, thank you, Julia.
Pickle? Yes. Shittaberry?
Yes.
Semaco?
Yes.
Was there anything else? Is that
That's
complete
it.
with this report? Okay. Let's go on to the Administration and Human Resources. Pat?
Okay, so first, I'm asked for approval resolution 2025-01. It's the meeting dates and times for 2025. Last year, we did a bi-weekly meeting, which ended up having 3 meetings in a month and some other things. This year, we nailed it down. We have 2 meetings every month. So those dates are there. They're on the calendar already. We put them out there, but I'd ask for approval of those today in our reorg.
I will move to approve Resolution 2025-01, setting the 2025 trustee meeting dates and times as presented.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? I was just going to say, I noticed that they were all Wednesdays except for tonight.
Pickle?
Yes.
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Semaco?
Yes.
I think residents will find that there will be a gap every once in a while. We'll have a meeting on January 15th, but since we're going to a month, we won't have another meeting till February 12th, because we won't have one 2 weeks later on the 29th. So just kind of watch that, and so folks that are always coming know. Next, I'm asked for approval to retain Brocious Johnson and Griggs as our legal counsel for 2025, and also the legal rates. The rates stayed the same as 2024. There was no increase in rates at all. Mr. Griggs sent those over, so I'd ask for that approval.
So moved.
I'll second. Is there any discussion?
No.
I was glad to see that there was not an increase. And call for the vote?
Heigl?
Yes.
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Thank you. Last meeting, Joanne presented the appropriations and included cost of living for the staff, but Julie Donnan said we still should memorialize that in a motion. So that's what that's for. So I would ask for a motion on the non-bargaining unit cost of living increase for full-time and part-time.
I'll move to approve a 3% increase in compensation effective January 2nd, 2025 for all full-time and part-time non-bargaining unit employees, including department heads and administrator.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I think it's been pretty consistent for at least as many years as I've been attending meetings.
Okay. Call for the vote?
Heigl?
Yes.
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
I will tell the trustees that as of tomorrow, annual reviews will be done for all the direct reports I have. So I think what we're trying to move toward going forward is kind of look at what were the goals that we set for you this year? Have we accomplished those goals? Where are we at on those goals? Setting measurable goals for everybody. So at the end of the year, we look at it and maybe it's not like this next time, you know? We look at more of kind of what's your performance been like and what have you done? So I'll have all those to you probably by end of day tomorrow or first thing Monday. You'll have all those reviews in your box to look at after reviewing the staff.
And I think more ideas from the staff on
Yeah.
how to make us more efficient.
Yeah, I've asked Matt and I discussed it, talked to Taylor about it, just, you know, what do you think your goals should be? What are the things that you'd like me to measure? What are some things you'd like to accomplish this year? And together coming up with those goals, and again, that are measurable, that would, you know, show up to every meeting. Well, no, you know, not that type of stuff.
I'd like to give some input.
Yeah.
If you ask an employee what you want them to accomplish,
Well,
maybe
no.
down here.
No, I understand that, but I want them to at least have some buy-in on that. So we're doing that, and I've set some goals for all of them, so I'll be reviewing those, and you guys will have those. So just wanted you to know. Next, we had a gentleman retire. And about 2 months ago, we had talked to an individual about possibly coming on board with us as kind of an administrative specialist. And it didn't work out, but we were very fortunate that someone had retired and wanted to continue to work at the township. And this person, I think, can help us in many ways: code, zoning, and administration. So I want to bring this person on. We've talked about it. I've talked about it to all of you. Want to bring Eric Moore on as basically assistant to code, zoning, and administration. So much of his time would be spent with Adam doing code enforcement, going out, doing some of the things residents ask us to do that we don't always have time to do because of zoning. And Adam can continue to work on the zoning, work on the comprehensive plan, the remapping, and all the things he's working on as well. And then also just internally filling in when people are out and so forth. Eric will be able to help with some administrative things and so forth. I think it'd be a great role, and someone that's been around for a long time and very invested in this township. I think it'd be great to have him back on board. So I'm going to ask you for a motion to hire Eric Moore as a full-time assistant for code enforcement, zoning, compliance, and administration.
I will move to hire Eric Moore as a full-time assistant for code enforcement, zoning compliance, and administration, and then with the start date that's.
March 3rd,
okay, with the
yes.
Start date of March 3rd, 2025.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just a little additional detail. Can he be cross-trained on all aspects? Like, can he be cross-trained on what Matt and his crew does and our administration and, you know, little things that you do? so
It'll
that-
mainly be administration, code, and zoning would be enough to keep him busy. We're not going to teach him to dig graves and run mowers and stuff like that. I don't think he wouldn't have the time to do that. Adam will keep him busy probably 32 out of the 40 hours in a week. I mean, all the things going on in zoning and code right now are it's a lot. Let's say we couldn't, and if we find that there's workload that, hey, you know, maybe we can teach him to run a mower. I don't know, we can talk about that, but
Or
that
dig
would
a
not be,
grave.
that would not be the intent early on.
Or update the website?
Or,
No,
or
that's,
that.
but those are the administrative things I'm talking about, those type of things within our building, like, as I call it, the administration building, how we can help administratively with some of the things we're doing, so.
So we should probably put together a nice job description for him that would include all of those things, so he knows.
Yeah, we have that already for the zoning and code side of it.
But
All that stuff.
administration.
We have to add, well, that was an add-on here as we talk, so we can look at the different tasks that we might think we can help with.
That's what the motion included, all three of those.
Yeah. We'll do it.
I'd like to comment. Many residents asked repeatedly for code enforcement, and we hired a code enforcement officer, and he's done an excellent job, but he doesn't have time to go out there and drive around and see the violations that we need. So this is something that between Eric and Adam sharing some duties, they can do what our customers, our residents are asking for.
Well, when we hired Adam as code enforcement, I don't think anybody realized the in-depth zoning that he could get into and the things he's learned in zoning and things that weren't happening before just because of the way staff was and so forth. So he's
And how
really,
outdated our zoning codes were.
exactly, codes are outdated. So the things he's doing there are really great, but it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of administrative work on his part. And if Eric can be out in the truck doing some of the things that Adam was not able to do that day, that'd be perfect. So I think it's a great fit.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote?
Heigl?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes?
Seymour?
Yes.
Thank you. Lastly, we reviewed the Blendon Central Cemetery rules and regulations. We talked about the regulations, adding the deed recording and some of the things we're doing now. We wanted to get in the rules that were in April. We had approved those, but we made some changes to that. I presented you with those. You guys have seen those. I'd like approval of those today so we can have an amendment date of today, 1/2/2025. Just for purposes of people understanding, last year we did about 170 funerals-ish.
87.
No, the year before that, 23. In 23, I think it was 170-ish. Yeah. And this year, 187. So there's a lot going on in the cemetery. There's a lot of things that we thought made sense in the regulations to kind of streamline things and really benefit everybody in a way that doesn't benefit everybody too much. We still got a lot of land, but the way we go through it in these last few years, it won't be too long before there'd be a lot of, not so many spots left. So these new regulations help us with that. And again, with the deed recording in there, we actually, just another point, Taylor contacted Sims, our cemetery software, and they created a form in the software for recording the deed and the sellback of the deed if we do. So it's there, it's in the cloud, it's saved in 2 different places as well. So that was a great add-on to the software that we just got done about 2 weeks ago. So anyways, I'm asking for approval of the new cemetery rules and pricing effective today.
I will move to amend the current cemetery rules and pricing as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I would just like to add, I'm glad that you were able to get an electronic form
Yeah.
to take care of the recording of the deeds and everything. That sounds great. Thank you. Okay. If I hearing none, no other discussion, call for the vote?
Heigl?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes.
Seymour?
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the list is OPEC aggregation. So in November, the residents, right about 60% of the residents voted yes for gas and electric aggregation to be offered in the township. All along, we've made sure that people understand you don't have to do it. You can opt out of it and all the things that go along with that. But what we didn't have was a concrete plan of what happens next. And then we do now have that plan. So what's going to happen is, and it's already been put in the paper this week and next week, and they're sending us, paying for that.
Good.
They are.
We thought so.
So I'm sending them receipts. But anyways, we noticed in the dispatch, I'll notice this week on our Facebook page and on the website. So what will happen, we have to have 2 public hearings. Electric and gas on the 15th of January at 7:15 at the end of the regular trustee meeting. SOPEC will be here to answer any questions residents have about aggregation, the process, anything they want to add. On February 12th, we'll have the second hearing. That hearing will happen at 6 p.m. prior to the meeting. And then that night, if all goes well, which should, there are 2 ordinances the trustees will have to pass, and I have the language for that from SOPEC. And then after that, mailings will begin in May for June lock-ins on rates. There is a rate availability in March, and they don't want to do that because if you lock in March and then opt out and then there could be an increase. They want to wait for that June sale of electric and gas. So that's kind of the process. January 15th, February 12th, they'll begin sending out mail pieces to everybody in May, that mail piece will show up and it'll say, you have been opted into SOPEX aggregation program. If you want to opt out, call this number, you can opt out. And again, they'll answer all those questions. The other thing I want folks to understand is if they say, I'm going to stay in this, and 2 weeks later they want out, all they got to do is call and opt out. If they want to opt back in a month later, all they got to do is call and opt back in. It's as simple as that. So, but they will be here to answer all those questions. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on that. Do you have any questions for me? Okay. Last thing I have is the trustees and I have talked about when people are out and making you guys aware. You know, I'm here to run the day-to-day operations, and I know they're not out, but if you don't know they're out, and I'm off the complex, and you come up to see somebody, they're not here. So we created a SharePoint site, and it's got a calendar on it, and that calendar has everybody's time off, requested time off on the calendar. So all you have to do is pull that link up, click the vacation count, click the calendar for that month, and you can see anytime anybody's gonna be off work, if it's scheduled, if they don't call in that day or what have you. So I'll send you guys that link tomorrow, and you'll have that link, and you can save the link as a favorite. All you gotta do is click on it, and you can see when people aren't gonna be in the office.
Okay,
Other than that, I think I've said enough.
okay, thank you. On to maintenance, Matt.
With the snowstorms coming, we've got 3 storms coming up ahead. Tonight, they're saying an inch, inch and a half. Sunday, 5 to 8 inches.
Really?
And Monday, 1 to 3. So give us some space so we can operate, use our trucks, and get these streets cleared for you.
Be safe.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I interject a comment? This might be a time to have, those that have opted in the email, give them a special announcement to make sure their cars are off the street.
Oh, yeah, that's great. We'll do that
Okay,
tomorrow.
can you do that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the purpose of these email things, so we can send out notices, so let's do it. And is that it for you, Matt?
That's it.
Okay. Chief Belford.
On behalf of myself and the other non-union employees of the police department, I'd like to very sincerely thank the Board of Trustees and the residents for the cost of living increase to our compensation. I'd also like to request that the Board of Trustees take the opportunity tonight to present Detective Eric Moore with a retirement badge recognizing his 40 years of law enforcement service to the community. He's been a regular fixture here at Blendon Township for 26 years. Some of the residents might not know that he was a Minerva Park officer for 12 years prior to working here, and a New Albany police officer for 2 years. He's been with us since 1998 until December 31st of last year when he retired. So that's 40 years of law enforcement service to the community, 26 with Blendon Township. We're very, very sorry to lose him. We want to recognize all that service and thank him. So I would ask that the board present him with a retirement badge recognizing his service. And Detective Moore, can I have you stand up here by the flag?
Beside me. And the flag will be used. Is there anything else? Chief?
That's all I have this evening.
Okay, is there anybody here representing the fire department? Okay, we'll move on. Did they send any messages? Okay, we'll move on then. Well, that brings us to the end of the meeting, actually, with a couple of announcements. So just a reminder that our next Board of Trustee meeting is January 15th at 6:30 here in St. Place. And also the electric and gas aggregation hearing at 7:15 immediately afterward that Pat alluded to earlier. And with no further business, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
A second.
You're gonna be the first?
Oh, wait.
I will take a motion to
Thought
adjourn.
you were motioning.
No, okay. Well, I'll second it then. And it is 7 o'clock. So, is there any discussion? Okay,
Call for vote.
Michael?
Yes.
Shinneberry?
yes.
Samato?
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.